Imagine a land of soaring mountains, plunging valleys, and a cultural mosaic as diverse as the landscapes themselves. This is Yunnan province, one of China's most breathtaking regions, a place where rivers carve their way through rugged gorges before spilling into fertile plains. But beneath this natural beauty lies vulnerability. The same rivers that nourish fields and sustain communities can, with little warning, transform into torrents of destruction when nature unleashes its full power. Here, flooding is not just a seasonal inconvenience, it is a recurring trial, one that tests both the resilience of communities and the limits of human engineering. Yunnan's hydrological network is intricate. Multiple rivers crisscross the province, converging and then flowing outward to other nations. Rainfall is driven by unpredictable monsoon patterns, sometimes lasting days, turning the sky into a ceaseless cascade of water. When precipitation is heavier than usual, mountain ridges are cloaked in thick clouds, releasing sheets of rain that saturate the soil far beyond its capacity. Once the ground reaches its limit, the water has nowhere else to go. Runoff rushes down steep slopes, feeding already swollen rivers with unstoppable force. Under these conditions, dams become both guardians and potential threats. They regulate river flow, store precious water for farming, generate hydroelectric power, and shield communities from surging floods. But dams are not invincible. Extreme inflows push against their walls, test their spillways, and strain their foundations. When water rises faster than gates can release, pressure builds. Hidden weaknesses, aging concrete, eroded embankments, or worn mechanical systems may suddenly fail. And when a dam breaches, the result is not a slow, creeping flood. It is an explosive release, millions of tons of water unleashed within minutes.
现在扣烂我的哦，唔得扣完哟，我睇se冲我哟，冲垮哟，全部拉差足的哦。 桥都被大水冲垮了。
The wave that follows strips topsoil from the land, flattens forests, sweeps away bridges, cars, and homes. In Yunnan's narrow valleys, these flood surges accelerate with terrifying speed, leaving residents with little or no time to escape. Survival hinges on the effectiveness of early warning systems and on how fast people can react when alarms are sounded. But water is not the only threat. Heavy rains often destabilize Yunnan's steep slopes, triggering massive landslides. These landslides can block rivers, forming unstable natural dams of loose rock and mud. For a moment, it seems the flood has been contained, but when such natural dams give way, they unleash secondary floods, cascading destruction downstream in a deadly chain reaction. What begins as a single disaster transforms into a multi-stage emergency. For the people caught in its path, the human cost is immense. Farmers watch helplessly as entire fields vanish under silt, mud, and boulders. Families lose not just homes, but heirlooms, livestock, and the fragile sense of security that defines daily life. Remote villages, often connected only by narrow mountain roads, may find themselves cut off completely, waiting days for rescue. Beyond the physical losses, the psychological toll is crushing. Fear of recurrence, uncertainty about rebuilding, and the haunting memory of nature's fury. Managing these dangers demands more than technology alone. Hydrological monitoring stations constantly measure rainfall, reservoir levels, and river flows. Drones and satellites scan mountain ridges for landslides. Engineers inspect dams, reinforcing weak points, repairing cracks, and upgrading systems. Communities, too, take part, practicing evacuation drills, mapping routes to higher ground, and ensuring that even the most remote households can receive alerts through radio or mobile networks. Yet despite all this effort, the challenge remains vast, because Yunnan's environment is one of extremes. Its climate shifts dramatically, from subtropical valleys where monsoon rains dominate, to high-altitude plateaus fed by snowmelt. Too much water brings catastrophic floods. Too little, crippling drought. Climate change adds even greater uncertainty, eroding the reliability of traditional knowledge and weather patterns that generations once depended upon. Ultimately, Yunnan's battle with flooding and dam failures is a reminder of water's dual nature. It is the source of food, energy, and life, but it is also a force that reshapes landscapes overnight, a reminder that nature's generosity is matched only by its unpredictability. The people of this province live in a delicate relationship with their rivers. Vigilance, adaptation, and respect are constant necessities. Protecting lives and livelihoods here means never underestimating how swiftly water can shift from a giver of life to a destroyer of worlds. And so, the story of Yunnan is not just one of disaster, but of resilience. Families rebuild homes from rubble. Farmers search for new ways to protect crops. Communities strengthen ties, preparing together for the storms to come. It is a constant balancing act between nature's power and humanity's determination to endure. Thank you for staying with us through this deep exploration of Yunnan's struggle with floods and dam failures. If this story opened your eyes, please give it a thumbs up, share it to spread awareness, and subscribe so you won't miss future journeys into the ways people around the world adapt to our planet's changing forces. Until next time, stay safe, stay prepared, and never forget the power of water.
Nature doesn't send us warnings, but we can. Floods, earthquakes, wildfires, and storms are striking harder and faster than ever before. By subscribing, you are not just watching, you are joining a movement to stay alert, stay informed, and helps others to do the same. Hit the subscribe now because the next disaster won't wait, and neither should you. Be ready and be aware.
我操，收了神通吗？
这一下下都看3个来吗？6个来。
Over the past 24 hours, Beijing, the capital of China, has been grappling with a record-breaking deluge that has caused severe flooding, claiming at least 30 lives and forcing more than 80,000 residents to evacuate from high-risk areas. According to city authorities, the heaviest rainfall was recorded in the northern districts of Mentugu and Yangqing, where precipitation reached up to 573.5 millimeters, 22.6 inches, surpassing the city's annual average in just a few days. The torrential rains triggered flash floods, landslides, and extensive infrastructure damage across the region. The town of Yunnan, located approximately 100 kilometers northeast of central Beijing, was among the hardest-hit areas. Residents reported that floodwaters surged rapidly, submerging streets, homes, and businesses. In some places, water levels rose to as high as 1.5 meters, 4.92 feet, bringing urban life to a standstill.
哎呀，我家水爷呀，这个大毛朝东边去叫来水了，你了了，吓死我了！你人没有家，快点吧。
The Mayun Reservoir, a key water facility built in 1959, reached its highest water level since its construction. In response, authorities were forced to release water from the reservoir and issued warnings to downstream communities about potential flood risks. The severe weather also caused blackouts in at least 136 villages and left many major roads either damaged or completely submerged, leading to serious disruptions in transportation. Flights and train services were delayed or suspended, straining the city's emergency response systems. To address the crisis, the central government has allocated 550 million yuan, approximately USD 77 million, in emergency relief funds, including 200 million yuan earmarked specifically for Beijing's response efforts. President Xi Jinping has called for an all-out search and rescue operation to minimize casualties. He also ordered the closure of schools, suspension of construction work, and cancellation of all outdoor activities until the emergency warnings are lifted. The situation remains critical, with meteorologists forecasting continued heavy rain in the coming days. This disaster once again exposes the vulnerability of urban infrastructure to extreme weather events, emphasizing the urgent need for more effective flood control systems and climate-resilient urban planning. Beijing's drainage infrastructure, designed for average rainfall, has proven incapable of coping with the sudden volume of water. Key facilities such as sewage systems and water treatment plants have also been impacted, further straining the city's emergency resources. Although thousands of rescue workers, including military personnel, have been deployed to assist with evacuations and emergency aid, the sheer scale of the disaster has made it difficult to reach all affected areas. Numerous roads remain blocked, and rescue teams are relying on rubber boats and helicopters to access isolated communities. Authorities fear that the death toll may rise as search efforts continue, especially in remote or severely affected zones. Residents are being advised to stay indoors and avoid non-essential travel as emergency teams work tirelessly to restore order and provide shelter and supplies to those in need. Despite swift response efforts, experts warn that it may take weeks or even months for the region to fully recover from the disaster's impacts.
doesn't send us warnings, but we can. Floods, earthquakes, wildfires, and storms are striking harder and faster than ever before. By subscribing, you are not just watching, you are joining a movement to stay alert, stay informed, and helps others to do the same. Hit the subscribe now because the next disaster won't wait, and neither should you. Be ready and be aware.